on this episode of Edge of the Web.
Content marketing is consistent, customer-focused content published on a platform that you own. It can be podcasts, it can be videos, it can be blog posts, it can be infographics. It doesn't matter what it is, but it has to be consistent and customer-focused with the intention of attracting an audience versus buying it. That's pretty simple stuff.
Your weekly digital marketing trends with industry trend-setting guests. You're listening and watching Edge of the Web. Winners of Best Podcast from the Content Marketing Institute for 2017. Hear and see more at edgeofthewebradio.com. Now, alongside Tom Broadbeck, here's your host, Aaron Sparks.
No, wait a minute. It's still November. Come on, you threw Christmas at me right before December. I mean, come on. You know that's one of my things.
Sorry. We only got like 3 shows until Christmas. So I had to get it in there.
Okay,
The
fine.
little Jingle Bells dubstep. That's all right.
All right, fine. Hey, we're broadcasting from Edge Media Studios, downtown Indianapolis. Welcome to the show. My name's Aaron Sparks. I'm the CEO of Site Strategics, as well as Edge Media Studios. Every week, we bring you the latest marketing trends in digital marketing, as well as marketing influencers from around the planet. You can check out all the recent shows over at edgeofthewebradio.com. We're powered by Site Strategics. We are your digital marketing pioneers, specializing in the agile marketing strategy as well as execution. If you want to know what that is, it's literally results-based marketing focused on all the tactics that we can actually execute, as opposed to a laundry list of a couple of things inside of the digital marketing sphere. So if you're interested in what Site Strategics can do for you, go check us out at strategics.com, and you can learn more there and download the Agile Credit PDF that we have right there, so you can see all the things that we do to bring success to our clients. The reason we do this show, I'll let you know real quick, is twofold. One, it's great to be able to connect with influencers around the world and learn the best tactics for digital marketing and kind of demystify some of these key concepts. And there's so much to actually focus on. So over the years, we've been breaking apart different pieces of the digital marketing advent calendar. How about that? So we've got the SEO out there. We got SEM, search engine marketing. We got social media marketing and management. We've got content marketing, obviously, and this show's dialed into that today. So we also talk about conversion rate optimization, video marketing, all the different areas in which you can connect with your consumer. That's what we're talking about. Let's introduce the rest of the people here in studio as well as outside of studio. We got Thomas Broadbeck, Director of Digital Media. Sir?
Hello. So on the first day of Christmas...
It's not December yet.
On the first day of Christmas, you got a content marketing tree or there's a
2 blog posts, 3 vlogs. Really?
Yep,
we can do that.
We can do it.
Okay, I'd like to introduce our content marketing guest, Michael Brenner. How are we doing, sir?
I'm excellent. How are you? So, by the way, I'm the elf on the shelf. You can just call me elf on the shelf of the marketing world here in our holiday edition.
That's not creepy at all. Oh, wow. No, I've had some serious problems with elves on the shelf before. I just didn't know you knew that to exploit that fear of mine. Hey, we also have a giveaway at the end of the show. Is that what I'm seeing?
News to me.
Oh,
did you want to do one?
Well...
Did I forget to delete that?
I guess we don't, everyone.
We can give away something.
Well, we're going to give away a T-shirt from Edge of the Web and Edge of Indy, possibly at the end of the show here. I want to make sure that we're connecting with our loyal followers on a regular basis. Please check us out on our favorite your favorite podcast platform. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Acast, and now Spotify. We're on Spotify.
Yeah.
We got pulled into the double A's, right?
Yeah. They reached out to us, and we gladly obliged on their request.
Absolutely.
So.
Is that the double A's, or is that the majors? It's the majors.
That would be the majors. I was wondering, I was like a battery reference because we knew we needed to get AA batteries earlier today. I wasn't sure if it was right. I didn't get the reference, but now the sports reference. I got it.
Sports reference, and that's about as good as I can get. All right, so let's get back over to the digital marketing references. Let's take you through the latest digital marketing trends.
Put that cookie down now!
This week's trending topics.
And that's just a Christmas reminder from my wife. She's not Arnold Schwarzenegger, but that is said frequently at her house.
Understood.
Put the cookie down now. So
to you explicitly,
to me, yes.
Because you do. How old's your daughter now?
She's one.
She's one.
Yeah.
All right. So are you
14 months? So
are you pinging her on the cookie reference?
She likes cake.
Oh,
yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like cake?
Who doesn't? I don't know. It's a great thing.
It is a great thing, but cake was not the focus over at Marketing Land on Black Friday. Black Friday by the numbers, another year of e-commerce records from Amy Gestenhouse over at Marketing Land. Tell us what she was talking about on Black Friday.
Well, it seems like a lot of people actually stayed home on Black Friday and ate cake. So Adobe predicted earlier that Black Friday sales would reach over 5 million, and they did. They reached 5.03 billion, which was a 16%, almost 17% increase.
Billion with a B.
Over last year. So there's a bunch of different stats in this article here, so I thought we could share some of them. Apparently 80%, tracking 80% of online transactions of the largest 100 U.S. online retailers. Adobe says 7.5 or $7.50 of every $10 spent online goes through their system, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Wow.
54.3% of all retail website visits and 36.9% of revenue happened on a mobile device this year, with conversion rates for tablets up 13% over last year.
Wow.
And smartphones up 16% over last year. Let's see, there's some good data down here under Shopify, which is an e-commerce platform.
Yep.
More than $1 million in sales went through their platform per minute at the peak, beating last year's high of only just over 500,000. So that almost doubled.
Wouldn't you love to have that job? Just tracking.
Just watching the numbers come through. I think that was some of the main ones I wanted to hit there.
Cool.
Adobe, I didn't see any Cyber Monday numbers yet. I don't know if it's 3 days. I thought they'd be available by now, but I didn't.
Think so?
I didn't see any, but Adobe was predicting Cyber Monday to be the largest online shopping day in history, expecting to bring $6.6 billion in sales, which will represent 16.5% year-over-year growth.
Very cool.
So,
Michael, what do you think about those numbers for the e-commerce Black Friday?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to file it in the no duh category, but I think I don't think we're going to see declining online sales during the holiday shopping season, or really in any season. Really, for a number of years, we're still. I started my career actually 10 years at Nielsen, tracking retail sales, and so I'm really familiar with the fact that we're overstored in the United States. Not just in grocery, but also in fashion and retail overall. We've seen the digitization of shopping, e-commerce taking place as a trend for years, the mobilization, mobile shopping taking place as well. So I'm not really surprised at all. And I think it's going to be years before we see our first decline. On top of that, the economy's doing well, wages are up, stock market's up. So people feel like they have money to spend. So I think you combine those 3 or 4 things, and maybe we'll call it the Amazonification of America too. I mean, I say every day is Christmas here because my wife and I are ordering stuff for our kids every single day. We've got stuff arriving, so every day is like Christmas. I think it's going to be a long time before we see online retail sales.
Amazonification.
Yeah, I'll say. Then Jeff Bezos's all-time wealth went up so much percent just on Black Friday alone.
He just crested the $100 billion net worth.
That's what I thought. I saw something like that.
Yeah, well, it was up on Monday and Tuesday, but I think it dropped yesterday by something like 8. Yeah, well, all the FANG stocks, so Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, all dropped, I think, 18% yesterday. So he dipped under $100 billion. The poor guy. I'm not crying. Man. I'm not crying any tears for Mr. Bezos. But yeah, he was up over $100 billion for a while on Monday and Tuesday.
Oh well. Sorry to hear, but you're absolutely right. It's a no duh because more consumers are getting more and more savvy. The key data I was looking at was the conversion rates on the tablet, the conversion rates on the smartphone. There's such a trust on the transaction layer of the different apertures and the different platforms now. And I remember whenever we were talking about 2.5%, I think maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I was given a speech of 2.5% conversion rate, and it was just like, oh my gosh, it's fantastic. I mean, they're pegging the numbers all over the place now. The consumer the consumer appetite has shifted and really gone into the mobile space, and that's it's going to go nowhere but up. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, talking about additional predictions, Forbes has a prediction from Forrester. Forrester predicts that AI-enabled automation will eliminate 9% of the U.S. jobs in 2018. This is from Gil Press. He's a contributor over at Forbes. A new Forrester research report, Predictions 2018, Automation Alters the Global Workforce, outlines 10 predictions about the impact AI and automation has on jobs, work processes, and tasks, business success and failure, as well as software development, cybersecurity, and regulatory compliance. To summarize, a couple key points that we're talking about, it was automation will actually eliminate 9% of the U.S. jobs, but will create 2% more in that space, right? The automation economy. Another point they made was the political automation backlash will briefly impede progress and lose. Robotic process automation, RPA, will add additional 500,000 U.S. digital workers. The U.S. digital workers. That's interesting. And will replace and augment 311 office and administration positions and 260,000 sales and related positions. To go on, bots and RPI, the smart search plus collaboration tools will provide people faster ops decisions. A mess of different data here. What do you think about this entire AI growth, Michael? You want to contribute there?
I mean, the robots are taking over, man. It's Skynet.
He did it!
We should all find a bunker and hunker down and make sure we got a couple of years of supplies of food and water. Yeah. Hey, man, it's like, first of all, if you've got a job in digital, if you've got, like us, any kind of job that involves creativity, this is something to really, I think, not see with any fear, if not be happy about. If you're doing something that can be easily automated, it's time to find a new job. It's time to find a hobby that maybe you can turn into a job. But yeah, I think it's a day to celebrate it for those of us in the digital creative class. And
absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to seeing. I think AI presents tremendous opportunity for the economy for those of us in digital marketing and any kind of creative jobs. I don't see a lot of fear. I know some executives are fearful. I know some blue collar workers are fearful. Lower paying white collar jobs are certainly accountants. Those kinds of people that do things that can be relatively easily automated. It might be tough time for them.
But adaptation is at the core of our country as well as the world, and it will be embraced, right? Or they'll turn into the Borg and we'll all be absorbed, right? See what I did there? 2 sci-fi references.
I love it.
2.
I love it.
Yeah. Final article from you did this to me, man. Okay.
Yeah, I knew this would get you the.
Abimanyu Ghoshal. Bang.
Oh, the name, yes.
Yeah.
I saw the name and I was like, got him.
From the next web, Facebook wants you to upload a photo to beat its new CAPTCHA. So tell me, what the heck is going on?
So a new report from Wired has a report from Wired that Facebook has begun asking some users to verify their identity and prove they are not bots by uploading a picture of themselves. So a selfie. This picture needs to clearly show your face in order to pass the social network security check, and Facebook says they promise that they will delete the image from their servers as soon as they verified that you are who you say you are. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No. Why?
They already know what we look like.
Absolutely. I mean, they know what we look like because our selfies all through Facebook.
But yeah,
I
don't know how I feel about this. It's a little weird.
What do you think, Mike?
Well, I've actually been a victim of a bot kind of stealing some of my family photos, which is pretty scary. And I've been lucky enough in a few instances where I've had some individuals send me, these fake accounts where some of them, my family pictures and, some of the selfies. I mean, I don't take selfies, but some of the pictures I'm in with my family, which is basically all I do on Facebook, were basically taken by somebody that isn't real or someone that's not me for sure. So yeah, I mean, I don't see this as a negative thing. What I do think, if you read that article, I think it's a little bit creepy that they're allowing you, if you think you've been a victim of like revenge porn. I don't know. Are we allowed to say that on this podcast?
You're good. It's been said a couple times.
Just don't even want to know. No, but yeah, so they're allowing you to upload a picture of yourself. So you have to imagine what kind of picture or video that might be.
Yeah. No,
so that no one else, we're imaginative people, so that no one else can upload that, without your permission. That's creepy.
I know.
That's a sad, example of the state of the world.
Upload your naked picture of yourself so we can verify that somebody's not revenge porning you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. See?
Yeah.
We are in that state of the state. I tell you what, that's just terrible.
Well, and I like the next article here. The bottom says Google is fixing its troubling burger emoji. Thank goodness.
Finally.
Been stressing about that forever. Fix that emoji.
I try to include the word burger in just about every conversation I have, just in general.
Oh, just don't match it with the previous topic. I tell you what are good topics, all the newsletter content that comes from Edge of the Web on a weekly basis. You can join that newsletter anytime, free of charge, and you can jump in there and be able to get all of the great topics. We're not really covering the Google burgers, but maybe we will. Who knows? If we can pull, no? Okay.
No.
We won't do it.
We won't cover the burger emoji.
So if you want to jump on your smartphone, what you can do right now is text to the number 22828, the word Edge Talk, to join our newsletter right there. Jump on there, and we're sending you out who we've talked to in the last week, some news articles, what we've covered, as well as who's coming up and what we're going to be talking about with them. So if you want to get a leg up on participation into the show, on top of that, we certainly open up Facebook Live to field comments of our audience as well. So if you want to ask Michael a question, jump in there, as well as we send you who we're going to be talking to. Be prepared with some really good questions for our future guests as well. So you can go over to edgeofthewebradio.com as well to join our newsletter free of charge, and you'll be getting digital nuggets of gold every week, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So let's jump into a deep dive with this week's featured guest.
Now it's time for Edge of the Web featured interview with Michael Brenner, CEO of the Marketing Insider Group.
Well, Michael, you got the deep voice guy too introducing you. How about that?
That's pretty awesome. Can I borrow him for a bit?
Unfortunately, no.
I'm gonna bring him to my next cocktail party. So,
he's gonna walk in front of you.
If you want to know who I am, this gentleman's going to introduce me. Call him the voice of God.
There it is. No, he's on a short leash. But I'm sure we can do something for you down the road there. Pardon me, for our audience who doesn't know Michael Brenner. Michael Brenner is actually a globally recognized keynote speaker of leadership, culture, and marketing, author of the best-selling book, The Content Formula. Michael's work has actually been the feature of The Economist, Fantastic, The Guardian, and the Entrepreneur magazine. In 2017, Michael was named a top business speaker by the Huffington Post, as well as a top CMO influencer by Forbes. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. You got certainly a great bio there. Can we learn a little bit more of your backstory?
Yeah, sure. I, make a long story short, started my career in sales, like I said, for the Nielsen company, selling, basically customer insights to retailers and manufacturers in the consumer goods space in the retail industry. So, really kind of gave me a good foundation for what marketing is. It was, essentially the 4 Ps of marketing. I was helping brands and retail organizations understand those 4 Ps. I moved into marketing because as a salesperson, I was kind of frustrated with the support I was getting from the marketing organization, and followed that frustration into a marketing career. Started as a field marketer, product marketer, event marketer, corporate marketer. As the first head of digital marketing at SAP, first head of content marketing at SAP. Had a couple of stints as a CMO at some startups in between and afterwards. And 2 years ago, decided it was time to, go out on my own and try to solve some of the marketing world's problems and really help brands connect with customers in an authentic way. So that's what I'm doing these days.
Fantastic. That's a great organic way to jump in and actually start taking hold of this and leading by example, so to speak. Right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Excellent. Well, you presented at Content Marketing World this year about how marketers get buy-in and budgets to do their content marketing. That's a huge topic. And especially whenever you're dealing with multiple industries and different acceptance rates, for lack of a better word, of digital marketing. Can you tell us a little bit about your talk that you gave?
Yeah, it was actually the second year that I did that exact topic, but it was at two different presentations because 2 years ago I did basically how to get executive buy-in for content marketing, and I used all the rational arguments. Like you can use the ROI, or you can use cost adjustments and cost benefit analyses and SWOT analyses, and this data point and that piece of evidence and this survey. And what I found was that I don't, and I got great reviews, but no one came up to me afterwards and said, this has changed my world. I'm going to go out and do content marketing now because my boss is going to be bought in. And so I spent a year then trying to figure out what was the problem. And what I realized was we don't make decisions because of stats and evidence. And I knew that from my days in sales. We make decisions because of fear and removal of fear. And so that was the difference in this year's presentation. I talked about how we need to help executives who may be resistant understand, really three simple things, right? The world has changed. Most marketing, for lack of a better word, completely stinks or doesn't work at all. And if you want the stats, I can show them to you. I can tell them to you. But it's true. It's undeniable, because if we look at the data will show us that's true. The majority of marketing doesn't work. It's a small majority. It's a small minority that works. And then the third point is that we need a way that really accepts that the consumer, the buyer, no matter what industry you're in, is in charge. And that's the reason to do content marketing. We have to accept that nobody cares what we sell and why we're better and who we are. People only care what we can do for them, and they want to hear that in a non-biased, totally authentic kind of way. And so that was the pitch this year. I was really, really fortunate. I got much better reviews this year, and had those instances where a few people came up and said, I want you to come back and talk to my team. I've got a CMO who's resistant. I've got a CEO who's really stuck on traditional marketing approaches, and we'd love to come back and kind of talk to them. So hopefully it worked. We'll see.
Boy, I was kind of pulling back the screen there, really demonstrating to everybody all the theories. I shouldn't say all the theories. The theory behind marketing is that you absolutely have to connect with the consumer why they want to deal with you, as opposed to the other way around. And boy, yeah, that changes the entire dynamic of how you communicate, right?
Absolutely. I mean, nobody wants to hear anybody talking about themselves in life or in business. And I always say marketing has a marketing problem, right? Like if you ask, I always say, ask your mom what marketing is. She's going to say, oh, it's that Super Bowl ad I saw last year. Like it's always ads. And it's usually, for most people, it's like ads they don't want, or ads that they think are lying, or telling them, or trying to convince them to do something they don't want to do, or showing them content in the form of an ad that they don't actually want. It's a negative perception. And so I always start by saying marketing is better than that. Marketing is, for companies that do it well, a business asset. And it is a business asset because marketing at those companies where it is an asset is focused on customer value, not on just blind, blatant, a selfish promotion.
Well said. So pulling it around, once that concept is kind of sucks all the air out of the room, right? But you have to move it in front of the CMOs. So how can marketers help prove to their CMOs or agencies, to their clients, that content marketing really works?
Yeah, this is the math, right? So if they're going to ask about the math, and that's what the book, The Content Formula, was about. My co-author and I, Liz Bador, wrote that because we worked together at a content marketing technology company, and we were getting that question all the time, and so we wrote a book that answered the question, and the answer is, first of all, look at the cost and the return on investment you get from your marketing. And, it's funny when CMOs say, well, what's the ROI of content marketing? And they cross their arms. So I say, well, what's the ROI of your marketing overall? And, they get this look like, oh, shit. Ooh, I mean, hey, you're not allowed to ask me questions. I'm asking you the question. They get real defensive. You'll bleep that out in the post-production. But yeah, it's and that they do actually say those words and worse. And the first point is, well, what's the ROI of marketing overall? And many companies don't know, and they don't know because it's hard to track the ROI of reach and frequency. It's hard to track the ROI of blind, blatant promotion that no one wants. It's hard to track the ROI of banner ads that nobody sees. It's hard to track the ROI of a logo on a stadium, and so these are the things that we do because CEOs think they work, but they don't have any clue how to measure it. So it starts with that basic understanding of the things that you're doing today, you don't know the ROI of because it doesn't have any, or it's very difficult to measure without some sort of huge leap of faith. Number two is there are things that we do, especially in the digital world, everything is measurable. And so there are things that we can look at that identify, you can see how much traffic comes to your website, how much of that traffic converts to a lead, and how much of those leads convert to a sale, and how many customers, stay and buy more, and how many customers leave. Like, we can track all that stuff now. It's this amazing concept. So why don't we do the marketing that's trackable and measurable? And that's really what content marketing is all about. So, it's just about following the data to deliver on that return on investment question.
So just to recap, one, we don't want to know, consumers don't want to hear what you have to say. That's not, and then two, your previous marketing sucks and you don't know how to track it. So three, that opens the door. You must be invited to a lot of cocktail parties. No, but I mean, these are real things that need to be said to the inner core of decision makers. Because one, it's not about being persuaded. Oh yeah, let's try this out. It's a real factual point of view that you can track this stuff where you can't track any of that more soft influencer type of marketing, or I mean, just the sheer fact that a logo on a billboard, what does that do for you? It's almost like this standard, well, because everybody's done it before. It's like this lemming approach where you really need to be able to get in and actually look at the data and be able to see measurements and be beholden to those dials and trust the content marketer that's a professional to do it, because they can see that and they can adjust and steer the ship, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. And, the other point is that, digital platforms, content marketing platforms are business assets. They're generally they're websites that hold content, like, very much like you guys are doing right here, where you own the content, you own the platform. So when, I publish about 10 articles a week, and wow. Those 10 articles deliver, well, not me personally. I only do 2 out of the 10. But the point is, I publish 10 articles a week that are almost, if not exclusively customer focused, educational in nature. They deliver traffic to my website. I can measure the amount of traffic and conversion and sales and retention that I get from that platform. And having done this for, I think I've done a strategy for content marketing for 4 or 5 dozen companies, large and small. And, what I'm seeing is that, it's a compounding rate of return. We see, a consistent investment, week over week, month over month. You do 1 podcast, you do 5 articles, you do 3 videos, whatever it is, but you just invest consistently, but your results go, up continuously because, the first thing that you publish, continues to see traffic and conversion, months and weeks and years even after it's been first published. And so it's a compounding rate. I always tell people it's like your 401k or a retirement account if you're not here in the US. You consistent investment, or you invest a consistent amount of your paycheck every twice a month or whatever, however often you get paid, and you see a compounding rate of return, not a linear rate of return. And that's really what it's all about.
Absolutely. Let me ask you the big question that we are all, as digital marketers, always up against. It's the concept of ROI as opposed to the tracking and the conversion. I mean, these are our feedback gauges that we're on the right course, right? But there's always that argument to that decision maker. Okay, what am I going to get for my investment, right? What is the ROI? Can you how do you measure the ROI for your content marketing strategies, and when do you tell clients or management of when they can actually see results? So it's a little bit different perspective on the second question, but the first ROI thing has always been a challenge in digital marketing space, right?
Yeah, definitely. And part of the reason why, and there's companies, a lot of companies that do paid advertising only because it's like a drug and, shot in the arm, and they can see clicks. We do paid search ads because we see we can pay for a click and we can get that click right away. And then we can see if those clicks, generate a return. one of the things that I always tell, folks that are struggling with digital and content marketing is, you only spend money on paid search because you're not getting traffic organically. And if you invested in getting our traffic organically, that investment pays off time and time again. Whereas in paid search, the moment you stop investing your dollars, you stop seeing clicks. Yep. And the moment you stop, putting banners on websites that, I don't know, do they even turn into clicks? Barely. Only 0.01% of them do. So, but the moment you stop spending money on those, you lose that even 0.01%. Whereas with content marketing, with digital marketing approaches, you see those returns come, over time. So I always say, what do you spend on paid search because you don't rank organically? How many of your marketing programs, deliver 0 results? And in my research, it's about 60%. Think about that. 60% of marketing tactics, things we invest in as marketers, produce 0 return on investment, 0 trackable, measurable results. That's a pretty sad number. So it's so that's the first thing is most of what we do today doesn't deliver results. Content marketing does deliver measurable results. And then, so that's the ROI question. The book, in the book, The Content Formula, we talk about 10 formulas, whether your objective is awareness. For example, here's an awareness measure. What do you spend on paid search because you don't rank organically? Let's say you spend $2 cost per click in paid search marketing. Well, if I can get 1 click in organic search results, then that's worth $2. So there's a way that you can use sort of, paid advertising approaches as a proxy to generate what the value of your organic traffic. That's just from an awareness perspective. Leads are an obvious one from a conversion standpoint. Retention, once you have somebody's, an understanding of their content consumption and their digital journey, you can see how much they spend. Customers that engage with brand content spend 3 to 4 times more than customers that don't. That's a stat for you. So, like if you're a bank customer, you want to produce educational content on home equity loans because you may have a checking account customer who's interested in home equity. And if you let them know and educate them on how the process and why they should, have a home equity loan, you're going to be the one they're going to choose. It's just simple stuff like that. The ultimate measure is subscribers. I always say, subscribers have value. Email marketing is the highest return on investment of any marketing tactic. $38 in return for every dollar invested in email marketing. Oh, wow. Because every time you get an email address, those folks are more likely to convert to a customer. So, that's the ultimate measure of success is your content so good that people subscribe to it? Mm-hmm. And then, are you nurturing those email subscribers with offers and other, deep forms of content that get them to convert?
It's beautiful.
It's easy.
Can we adopt you? I mean, this guy's got the bead.
We'll just play that every meeting we go into.
Yeah. We'll make a trade. You give me the voice of God guy and the deep voice guy, and I'll follow you guys around wherever you go.
That's damn funny.
That would be fun, wouldn't
it? So who are some of your favorite companies that are doing content marketing the right way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's, I sometimes I feel guilty saying this, but American Express Open Forum, I use these imagine statements when I talk to CMOs. Like, imagine that you were the owner of the guy behind the idea that came up with American Express Open Forum, mm-hmm. which is their largest source of new leads for their small card division. It produces a return on investment. It didn't in the early years. It took them a lot of money of upfront investment more than 10 years ago. One of the first examples of modern content marketing. But imagine that you're the CMO that said, I came up with that idea. And because of me, that program is the single largest source of leads for our small card division. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Yep. Or, I say, like, imagine you're trying to target CMOs. And so, imagine you're Adobe and you own the CMO conversation like they do with CMO.com. Or one of my favorite consumer examples is L'Oreal. The Maybelline division owns makeup.com. Like, imagine if every company, like, I would love, as a content marketing consultant, I would love to own contentmarketing.com. Unfortunately, it's already taken. But, imagine if you owned the generic name of the solution of what you sell, not the name of your company.
Right.
You'd get, imagine the value of doing that. And then there's Cleveland Clinic's Health Essentials Hub. My friend Amanda Todorovic over there, she's been there just over 4 years and 5 million monthly page views that she's getting to their Health Essentials content hub. And because of all that traffic, they actually use Google Ads, Google AdSense, and they generate more revenue. She doesn't ever give a number, but significantly more revenue than what they invest in that platform. So they're achieving their awareness objectives, and they're creating a marketing as a business asset. It's a profit center for Cleveland Clinic. It's amazing.
That's beautiful. Yeah, those are some great, and we certainly implore our listeners and our viewers to be able to go check that out, because those are some great stories of it done quite well. And so, I guess one question I would like to ask regarding companies that confuse or they, well, here's the deal: is that you wrote a great piece about the difference between content and content marketing. Okay. And it seems to be that, as much as we believe in content marketing, there's still, it's almost like a teenager with a stick shift here. All right. So first gear is realizing that they cannot talk about themselves. All right. Second gear is, you've got to get into a space where, most of your marketing sucks. Third gear is actually starting to put forth content, but they do it without a strategy, and they do it without truly marketing that content. They're just puking up content, right? Why do companies, I've been following along here. Why do companies stop at just putting content out and not go into the entire marketing pursuit?
Yeah. So I thank you so much. I didn't realize you were going to bring up that article, and I'm so glad you did. It's like, it makes me crazy. So if I start to lose my mind, just pull me back a little bit. So in the last 2 years, in 2016 and 2017, 2016 and 2015, I wrote 2 of the most popular articles on the Content Marketing Institute blog, because I felt like I really needed to share with the largest community of content marketers that I could these 2 pet peeves. And you brought up one of them. So the first one is that content is not content marketing. So just because you created an ebook, Mr. Marketer, doesn't mean you're doing content marketing. Or just because, or my favorite question, I want to create a viral video. The only answer to how do I create a viral video is
go away.
That's the only answer. So, a piece of content is not content marketing, because content marketing is consistent, customer-focused content published on a platform that you own. So that gets me to my second pet peeve. I'll repeat that again. Content marketing is consistent, customer-focused content published on a platform that you own. It can be podcasts, it can be videos, it can be blog posts, it can be infographics. It doesn't matter what it is, but it has to be consistent and customer-focused, with the intention of attracting an audience versus buying it. That's pretty simple stuff, right? The second thing is, if you get the platform that you own piece, it means that, my Twitter account is not content marketing. My Twitter account is a great mechanism to distribute my content marketing.
Right.
There's a lot of fashion brands that are like, oh, we've got 6 million followers on Instagram. Well, great. What's the value of that? You have no idea, because Instagram could decide tomorrow that they're going to, change their algorithm, and your 6 million followers will only see, 1 of every 100 pieces of, photos.
That's right.
So, we all went through that with Facebook, and I think some of the younger folks coming into marketing forget that. And so, social media is not content marketing. Content is not content marketing. Those are my 2 biggest pet peeves.
Preach to the choir.
Yeah, I was thinking of that right now, that we had all these people who were big Vine stars, right? And now Vine's just completely gone. It's like,
what's Vine?
Yeah, right?
It turned into Snapchat overnight. So any tips on how to turn that content marketing? Let's say that the maturation has happened, right? And they've heard the gospel, and now they're building their own content engine, right? So they can actually market it, and they've owned the platform, and they're looking to monetize it. Any tips on how to convert into leads and sales from that platform? Again, the ubiquitous. You don't really know what that delivery mechanism is, but how do you turn those into leads and sales?
Yeah. Nobody comes to me and says, "Hey, I really want to get some traffic." People come and they say, I want to get some leads. And so content is the way to get traffic, right? Like I said, it's a way to attract an audience versus buy it. So that's important. But what do you do with that traffic? You have to think, the first thing that I do with the clients that I work with is to develop the lead magnet, or that ebook, or usually I do it in the form of like an ultimate guide or a buyer's guide or a comparison shopping guide. It's literally that piece of asset that's valuable enough that somebody might hand over their name and their email address and maybe even their phone number to say, I want that, I need that, and essentially they're raising their hand to say, I'm in the buying process. So I actually recommend doing that first before companies even start to build the engine of content marketing. Interestingly enough, you can then use that. My friend Jason Miller calls that atomizing content, or sort of creating various pieces, creating one large piece of content and then creating various pieces off of that. Create a video series, break a white paper up into 5 articles, and then link to the lead form that allows you to download the article. Get go on Fiverr and get a designer from Pakistan to develop an infographic. I mean, you can do this stuff for relatively cheap, but you can take one really core idea that's important to your buyers and turn that into 100 pieces of content. And so, that's where I would start. What's the one thing your audience really needs to understand, or what are the 5 questions they need to know the answers to in the buying process? Answer that, and then start, generating the content and creating that machine. Use that one lead gate or multiple, lead forms and content offers to start to optimize to find out what people want. And then you should be able to track conversion through the funnel.
Absolutely. Build what people want, repurpose it, expand, right? As opposed to the other way around, trying to find what they want after you built the engine.
Yeah.
It kind of doesn't work that way. Well, this has been fantastic, Michael. To kind of wrap up some of the conversation here, and you're very vocal, and I really appreciate that, because we need more and more people that can actually just say, stop, get real. Let's talk about this and shake off some of the old dogma and really realize that you've got to be authentic to your consumers and stop doing stuff that doesn't make you any level of success. Just don't do it because everything's been done before. What really bugs you about your industry right now?
What bugs me about the industry? The marketing industry?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think that we're 1993, I think, was when Netscape was launched. It was 94 actually. So it was launched in 93. They changed their name to Netscape in 1994. Yep. So, the commercial web has been around for 23 years, and we still have, I think, the majority of marketers, and I don't think it's an age thing. I think it's a laziness thing. I think the majority of marketers are like, hey man, it's just easy to, buy reach and frequency, gross rating points or CPMs or, cost per clicks or whatever it is. It's just easy, and then I'm going to tell my boss, hey, guess what I did? I checked the box. I bought some stuff, and, I bought some clicks. I bought some impressions. I bought some airtime, whatever it is. I stuck that logo on the stadium. So the thing that makes me angry is just laziness. And there's a CMO that I spoke to who's, I made a joke about putting your logo on a billboard, and she goes, well, we actually have, our logo on a billboard right on Route 101 in San Francisco, because Highway 101, because the CEO drives by every day and he told us we need to be there. We need marketers that are willing to push back and be courageous enough to say, you know what, that's BS. You, Mr. CEO or Mrs. CEO, you're going to hold us accountable for results. We want to deliver the kinds of business impact that marketing is capable of. And so I'm going to push back. I'm going to say, no, I'm not sticking my logo on a billboard that nobody looks at because they're in traffic and they're pissed off. Like, it's the worst thing we could do. And I'm not doing it because of your ego. I want to do things that actually help our customers in the same way that our products and services help our customers. And that's what marketing should become. That's what pisses me off so much. It makes me angry. We got to fix that. And so my call to arms for marketers is push back against marketing we know doesn't work, marketing that's old school, that interrupts people, and just try to help people, help your boss, help your business, and help your customers.
Yeah, we all know everybody's looking at their phones anyway on the highway, so. That's why you should advertise.
So you should really just go for the QR codes as opposed to...
I'm sorry, what did you say? I was looking at my phone.
Well said, sir. Well, okay, conversely, not to just I mean, honestly, we just give up the ghost of Skynet if we really want to. Let's let's jump into what excites you about your industry, because I mean, honestly, there needs to be this reconciliation and this reality check, right? But what do you see as really exciting in the marketing industry right now?
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of a technology piece, and we've already just sort of brushed upon AI. I think AI is pretty exciting, but there's also a people side, and so I'll give you the answer on both sides. So from a company technology perspective, I think AI and marketing, the marriage of those two, things is really exciting, if for nothing else, because I want the robots to tell us what not to do. Because once the robots are in charge, they're going to say, yeah, that banner ad, probably not a great idea. The CEO's ego billboard, that's not going to generate any revenue. And so I think it'll help us get some support that we need to push back on bad ideas in marketing and push back against marketing that doesn't work, because we already know what doesn't work. We just keep doing it. And so we need AI to come and tell us, like, hey, my name is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you will not do this anymore because, I'm automated robot, machine learning, intelligent, sentient being.
And put the cookie down.
And put the cookie down. Exactly. So that's the technology side. On the people side, what I'm really excited about is CMOs owning culture. And what I mean by that is, if you look at digital transformation that's taken place in the last two and a half decades, what it's done is it's put customers in charge. So what that means, the only way for companies to differentiate is customer experience. The only way to achieve better customer experience is with happy employees, right? Customer service people, frontline employees, salespeople, even marketers that are happy and engaged in their work are the ones that create the better customer experiences. And this is proven. Jim Stengel wrote a book called Grow, where he looked at companies that put sort of customer focused and employee engagement mission statements at the front and center of their companies, 400 to 500% increases in their stock return. One of my favorite books from 1991, I think, was a book called The Service Profit Chain, which identified that companies that put employee satisfaction and employee engagement first as their mission created happier customers, and those happier customers turned into higher stock prices. Like, the data goes on, the research goes on and on and on. Happy customers give you happy employees give you happy customers. Happy customers, spend more with your company. And so that's what I'm excited about is now marketing is now merging with HR in a way and taking on culture and talent and engagement and all these kinds of strategies, because, I'm not going to watch an ad on television, but I might listen to my, a friend of mine who's an employee at a company when they say, hey, check out this, I'm really excited about this new solution we came up with.
That's really cool. Is it that simple? I mean, honestly.
It is. I think it is.
I think it is amazing.
Yeah. And so Steve Lucas is a former colleague of mine from SAP, a year ago named the CEO at Marketo. His first job was to name a director of employee engagement. She's a fellow Philadelphian, an Eagles fan, by the way. I had to throw that in there. Number one team in the NFL. But his first I can't
contend that at all. He's from Indianapolis right now.
His number one job was to hire this head of employee engagement. He stuck her in marketing with a dotted line to HR, and they're just watching employee engagement and employee activation and content being created, voluntarily by their employee base. And, so follow the story of Marketo and what they're doing with employee engagement. This is a CEO who put employee engagement under the CMO, driving an HR strategy. It's pretty interesting. I do think it's that simple.
Wow. That is fantastic. I'm going to actually, honestly, we're going to play this back for the team regularly, because this is really the keystone, almost like a Rosetta Stone of what marketing should be. So thank you for this, because it's now management fodder for Site Strategics.
Nice. Good luck with that.
Thank you very much. Well, I mean, like I said, I'm gonna adopt him somehow. So we're gonna figure out how to fly him out here. Give him the big voice guy. We're good. All right, you've got a fun fact that is too damn cool, and that is you wrote about Mark Hamill presenting at an event. What happened when you wrote about him?
Yeah. So every year for Content Marketing Institute, well, I didn't do it this year because they had a few sort of celebrities, but prior to this year, they every year it's a Content Marketing World. They had a kind of a celebrity come in and for 4 or 5 years running. So I did this article for my friend Joe Polizzi, the founder over there. WTF does celebrity know about content marketing? And I did it every year with sort of this, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm doing this for my friend Joe, and because I love that event. But, in the back of my mind, I'm like, it'd be kind of cool if the celebrity sort of mentioned me or shared it on social. And it never happened until this year. And, or last year. So Mark Hamill was the closing keynote at Content Marketing World in 2016. And I wrote, WTF does Mark Hamill know about content marketing? And actually wrote, basically, I mean, there's no better, mythology of the modern age than the Star Wars, franchise. It's from when we were kids to now our kids, it's taken over the merchandising and everything. It's been extremely successful. So the storytelling aspect. So I wrote about the storytelling, sort of secrets of Luke Skywalker and how Luke was this, the reluctant hero, and he went on a journey and he found a mentor and he faced his biggest fear and he found that his father was everything that he feared. It was this evil force. And, and then, Darth Vader went on his own sort of redemption journey as well. And, basically it's the hero's journey that Stephen Campbell wrote about, a guy that I'm a real big fan of. So I wrote about that. And then on the stage, Mark Hamill's getting interviewed by Joe, and three times he mentioned the article, and twice he mentioned me by name. Ooh. And I just almost, I think I almost fainted. I really was like, fangirl. I was like, oh my God, Mark Hamill mentioned me. And so I found Peter Leubel, who's the chief revenue officer at CMI. And I'm like, dude, you gotta bring me backstage. I have to be. It's like, we're already at capacity. You get 10 spots, 10 folks can take a picture with Mark, and basically it's, all of our staff, but it's like, I'm going to get you back in. And so he came back, and I was number 11, and he whispered to Mark, hey, Michael Brenner, the guy who wrote this article about you, is here. And Mark was so super gracious. And I know, I normally wouldn't interrupt celebrities at a dinner table and ask for selfies because I think that's rude. But Mark, he came over and he's like, hey, I really did like the article that you wrote. At first, I thought you were making fun of me. And then I wrote the article and you talked about storytelling, and, I really believed it. And that's why I talked about it on stage. And then we took a picture. So if you go on my Facebook profile, you'll see the picture that I got with Mark Hamill, where he's kind of poking me a little bit. And it was really, a total lifetime highlight. Obviously marrying my wife and my kids are number 1 through 4 and 5. And then Mark is going to be 6.
I'm really glad you qualified that, because
yeah, she might be listening. So never know. Yeah, number 6, Mark. You're number 6.
Ooh. All right.
And I ask everybody of your Philadelphia and who's on the show, Pats or Geno's?
Yeah.
Oh, Pats. Definitely.
Okay.
So do you know the difference, right?
I know they're across the street from each other, and
it's a big difference. Yeah. What? Go ahead.
No, I say one has like more meat than the other. Maybe?
No.
Okay.
So Pat's puts the steak on the bun.
Oh yeah.
And Geno's puts the cheese on the bun. And so the reason Pat's is better is because the roll soaks up that steak and then the cheese on top.
I remember
that.
Yeah.
Ooh, it all comes together. And so you can get into some big fights. And then Jim's, which is further down the street, wins the awards every year. But it's a better piece of steak on the bun. That's why people like Jim's. But
so there's 3 right in competition with each other, right there on the street.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I went to Philadelphia. I was probably in high school at the time, and I didn't know about the whole Pat's Geno's thing. And so somebody recommended Campos to us, and that was a pretty good one. But
yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Mm-hmm.
So all I know is Pat's Geno's is like a between people. So
definitely,
I always ask that.
Well, Michael, is there anything that we could promote for you on the show here?
Check out my book, The Content Formula. You can buy it on Amazon. You can come to my website, marketinginsidergroup.com, where I actually offer a PDF version of it for half price. So you can download that, share it with your team. I really didn't write it to make money, just to help people answer that question. What's the return on investment in content? Content marketing. So check out my website, marketinginsidergroup.com. You've got it up there. Thank you. I love to keynote speak. So if anybody's interested in someone to come and talk about, why I think, employee engagement is the future of marketing, and, the return on investment that marketing can have, the changes we're seeing in the industry, I'd love to come talk to your events, your conferences, or your teams. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to pitch those services that I offer.
More than welcome. And to let all of our listeners know, here's what I'm going to do here. For the giveaway that I hinted at, all right?
Okay.
We're going to grab up a book from Michael, all right? And we're going to give it away to our audience in 7 days. If you can go on the Facebook thread of the show and give a really good question to Michael that we can kick over to him, and he can certainly jump in there and answer. So we're gonna pick the best question from the audience, and we're going to make sure that we get that book out to them. All right.
Yeah.
And forgive me, I haven't read the book yet. I am absolutely going to read their book first. So this is I'm doing a twofer here. I'm going to read it. I'm going to pick it up, read it, and then give it.
It's a 2.5 hour plane ride read. It's big font. We made it easy to read for the simplest of marketers.
Thank you. So I need that.
So if when Aaron signs us the book reports, that's the one to choose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lots of pretty pictures. It's a nice, easy read. So it's nothing too deep.
So I got the dates right. So our audio listeners, you've got until the 8th. We'll just do Friday the 8th to make it the end of the week.
Yep.
Is that all right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Awesome.
Friday the 8th.
Cool. All right. So certainly follow Michael on Twitter at Brenner Michael, as well as on Facebook at michael.b.brenner. LinkedIn, you can find him at Michael Brenner, and there's no Instagram out there.
I do have an IG, but it's pretty much just pictures of my kids and spicy margaritas that I have every once in a while.
Well, thank you so much, and we certainly appreciate you coming on the show. What a breath of fresh air! Just cutting through the BS. And
this has been fun. Thanks for having me.
We greatly appreciate it, and we certainly appreciate the social love out there. Remember, sharing is caring, right? So after the show, we certainly want to be able to lift up to your respective tribe, and the podcast comes out on Tuesday.
Yep.
And we certainly wish you happy holidays, sir.
Same to you and your audience. Yeah, happy holidays.
Fantastic. And we'll be looking at, we would love to have you come back on the show here at a later date as well.
Anytime. I'd love to come back.
You got it. All right.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening to Edge of the Web Radio, and a special thank you to our colleagues at Site Strategics, as well as our guest, Michael Brenner. Make sure to see all the must-see videos and audio and much more of the insider information over at edgeofthewebradio.com. That's edgeofthewebradio.com. We'll talk to you next week. Who are we talking to next week?
You caught me off guard. I don't remember.
Yes. We'll let you know in our newsletter. So check it out, right? All right. Remember, do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.